Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today I'm going to be talking about a situation from our boys over at Bethesda, talking specifically about old Pete Hines once again. And this is something that is just, I think is a little bit funny, and I just wanted to talk about. This is news that is not exactly new. It came out a couple weeks ago, but I haven't discussed it yet on the channel, and it's something I've been meaning to get to, and I just wanted to give you a quick video about this today and give you my quick opinion on this situation. So you may or may not have heard that Pete Hines has been kind of threatening Sony over not including crossplay when it comes to Elder Scrolls Legends, which is their online free-to-play card game based on the Elder Scrolls series. And of course, this is a card game that Pete Hines says is, of course, in no way similar to Hearthstone or any other card game, because Bethesda is, way too innovative, and, anyone who compares it to other card games is just foolish. Just like anyone that would compare Fallout 76 to other online survival games is also just foolish. I mean, Bethesda is far too innovative to copy other stuff. But, so what Pete was saying when it comes to the crossplay thing is basically he's saying that if Elder Scrolls Legends can't be played in crossplay on Sony's platform, then he's saying that, oh, well, maybe we won't be able to publish the game on Sony's platform. And the interesting thing about the situation is he's been asked why Fallout 76 he's not trying to, throw a little more leverage behind things when it comes to Fallout 76. And what Pete said in a recent Eurogamer article, when talking about crossplay, he says, it's way more pertinent to Legends. Fallout 76, sure, it would be nice if I could play it on my Xbox and my kid is playing on his PC and we can play together, but if we can't, okay, that's a lot of games. I play Overwatch on Xbox and he plays on PC separately and has a whole separate account. It's not critical. But for Legends, it's absolutely critical. Both crossplay, which is how Legends works right now on every device, you're playing against somebody who could be on any device. And more importantly, cross-platform progression, which means no matter what you do on any platform, you load up the game, and so long as you're logged in, here's all your progression, here's everything you had, here's everything you were doing. If you were in the middle of a match and I flipped your laptop closed while you're in the middle of the match and you loaded up on your phone, you would be right back in the match where you were. This is a must for us on any platform. So I'm a little curious about this. So it's critical for a card game that your progress carries over and anything that you have done and all your progression that you had carries over. That's critical in a card game, but it's not for Fallout 76. That's really weird because it seems like all of those things that he talked about would also be important to Fallout 76. But, of course, if you really stop and think about it for a second, this seems to me like far more of a bluff on Pete Hines' part, trying to dangle this relatively, let's face the fact, Elder Scrolls Legends, a card game on consoles. Do you think Sony's really going to be shaking in their boots to lose a card game? I mean, I know that there's a market for card games. It's mainly on PC, though. There's not. I'm not familiar with a vast majority of people who are into card games on consoles. It's clunkier to use. I mean, a card game should be made to, you click on the card, move your deck around, all that. With a console, you're tabbing over all the time. It's just not as conducive to play, and I just don't see a huge market anyway. So I don't see how you're threatening Sony. But of course, you're not going to use Fallout 76 because you know that that's a game that you need to push numbers on, and you want Sony's help on that one. But to me, what this is a bluff, and I think it's a thinly veiled bluff, because all I see this is a way for Bethesda to try to get some more good PR back. Because, let's face it, whether you like to admit it or not, the fan base for Bethesda has been fractured. There's a lot of people who are upset. I know some people are fine with the game, and there are some people who are really upset with the game. And we've discussed that on the channel many, many times. I'm not going to get into that today. But it's obvious to anyone who's being objective about it that certainly some of the fan base is upset. And it's a good percentage. It might not be 50-50, it might be over 50-50, it might be less. And either way, everyone being objective knows that it's definitely a sizable percentage. And for me, this whole we're sticking up for crossplay thing, this is just a way for Bethesda to get some more good PR back on their side. You saw how worn out they all looked on the panel. How defeated did Todd look? Now, that's just me reading into his body language. But has anyone ever seen Todd Howard look that dejected on a stage as we saw at QuakeCon. I mean, obviously, these guys want to get some more good PR going. They are not used to this sort of backlash. So this was an easy, quick way for them to sort of make good and get on the side of the fans again. And everyone can say, oh, the Bethesda are the good guys. They're sticking it to Sony. And to me, this is a hollow bluff. And even if it's not a bluff, even if they do pull the game, what real weight is that to Sony? I mean, come on. Now, as far as crossplay goes in general, would it be nice to have? I mean, sure. But I also think there's some situations where the crossplay thing has been kind of overblown. And I'm certainly not saying that there's not a good amount of people that really want crossplay. But I don't see it to be a deal breaker. However, yes, it's a service that a lot of people seem to want. And if it's able to be done logistically and technologically, which it should be able to be done, because didn't Fortnite say that they switched it on by accident and people from Xbox and Sony were playing together in a match before someone caught wind and they had to flip the switch on? It was an accident, of course, but so we know it can be done, and developers have said that it's easy to do, easy to implement, not a problem. So if it's something that people want, if it's Sony holding out because of money, that's not a good thing. If it's Sony holding out because they technologically can't do it, well, it doesn't appear to be the case based on everything I've seen from various developers and the fact that they already have crossplay with PC in some games. So it seems to me like this is just something where Sony doesn't want to play ball, mainly with Xbox and possibly even Nintendo. But to me, I think they would even play more nice with Nintendo than Xbox. That seems to be their chief rivalry, even though the Switch and the Xbox One they're going to be competing for total sales by the time this generation's over, but that's another conversation. Now, as far as me with crossplay, I don't use it. I don't know that I ever would. I generally just set up another account on whatever platform I'm on. Even if I have the option for crossplay, I generally don't use it, especially in competitive games. If it's like a Twitch shooter or even a game like Fortnite, which is a competitive game, I don't see any reason why I would want to put myself at an unfair advantage compared to the other people in the lobby. Like if I'm on a Switch, why would I want to play against someone on a PC? Or if I'm playing on a PlayStation even, why would I want to play against someone on a high-end PC where in a first-person shooter they could just obliterate me if they know what they're doing, and I wouldn't really stand much of a chance. Not that I'm great at first-person shooters to begin with, but you take my meaning. Now, obviously, with a game like Elder Scrolls Legends, Pete is kind of right. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't have crossplay. The competitive advantage in a card game is negligible at best, so I don't really see a reason why you couldn't allow crossplay, except for the fact that Sony seems to have this blanket policy, for the most part, where they don't want to allow crossplay. So, like I said, it's not something that I personally use, but I know that there are a lot of people that do want it, so I gotta say, if it's something that can be done, it should be done. However, I still think this is a pretty hollow threat from Pete Hines and Bethesda overall, regardless of my thoughts about crossplay. To me, this is just a way they know that crossplay is kind of a hot topic right now. Fortnite, it became a huge thing when it launched on the Switch, and it was not. People were getting locked out. People who were on PS4 realized, hey, I can't put this over on my Switch, and that's when it kind of blew out of proportion, in my opinion. But I know it's important to some people, like I said. So I think this is just Bethesda hopping on the PR train and trying to get a little bit of, goodwill going back with the fan base. And like I said, it's worked, and I really don't have too much else to say about it. We'll see what happens. They obviously don't have the stones to do it with Fallout 76. And Pete making these excuses like, oh, it's different in a card game than it would be on Fallout 76 because your progress and everything you have and everything you did would transfer over in a card game, but that somehow doesn't apply to Fallout 76. Is ridiculous. Okay, now I'm going to be back next week, and right at the start of the week, I'm thinking about doing sort of a roadmap for what I'm going to be looking at when we come into the busy fall season. The summer has been pretty slow when it comes to game releases, so I haven't really had too much new to talk about. So I'm excited to get into the fall season where we're going to start getting game after game after game, and so probably on Monday, I'll be putting out a video discussing all of the games that I'm looking at buying, what I'm probably going to be buying, and what I'm definitely going to be buying, and sort of giving you my roadmap for probably about the next 6-7 months of what I want to try to look at on the channel. So Hope to see you there. Thank you for coming in and watching this video. Thank you to everyone who wants to keep an open mind on the channel, and to everyone who gave me some good feedback in the last section, whether you liked what I had to say over this week or what you hated what I had to say over this last week. Thank you for the feedback. I took it all. I took it all in stride, and it is what it is at this point. It's in the past. I'm moving on with the channel. I'm going back to the content that I want to do. And I hope you all come along for the ride. I'm Coach Toolshed, and as always, keep it turned to 11.